What's up guys, this is Save Knight and welcome back to Wizardry, Tale of the Forsaken Land for the PS2. This is bonus episode number 2, where I'll be showing off all the different AAs, starting from offense down to assisted, and then I'm going to switch saves and show you the hidden possess AAs. I picked floor number 8 because it's a fairly decent floor to test these out on. You know, enemies aren't too weak, but they're not too strong either. I'll show each one, give a brief description, and like how they work and what they do and all that other shit. So we'll see you in a bit. First up, we have Convert Attack. That's where it's large damage inflicted on one enemy. All front row members will attack the same enemy. Wrong button. It's automatically learned when you reach rank 6. And for it to work, you have to have 3 front end members. So I guess you have to have all 3 in the front. Up next, we have Sweep Attack. Small damage inflicted on front row of enemies. Basically, all your front row people will attack the entire enemy front row. I find that to be complete garbage. Unless you're up against like weak enemies like red slimes, maybe ogres if you're strong enough. But more than often, or like low-level ninja or thieves. But other than that, it's not really worth it. And this one, you also have to have like 3 people in the front row, and you automatically learn it when you reach rank 5. I know you've seen Rush before. The party will charge at all enemies. But what's special about this one is that it has special properties to ignore evade and ignore defense. Meaning it will always hit the enemy, regardless of how fast they are, and it'll ignore their defense rating. So even enemies with high defense, like chimeras, and giants, and greater demons malefics, things like that, is going to do full damage. This one, you have to have at least 3 or more people, and you buy it from the guild for 2,000 gold at rank 3. And here we have Ninja Attack. Increases damage to enemy from a mid-air attack. Again, as all 3 front row members attack the same enemy. The off 2 attacking the enemy first, and then your ninja coming down and dealing either a normal hit or a crit hit, but normally it will be an instant kill hit. Again, for it to work, you have to have 3 people in the front row, and one of them must be a ninja. Otherwise, it defeats the purpose of being called a ninja attack. So it's your 2 off member, like front off members, attacking, and then the ninja, I guess, in like a jump attack, does like massive damage or just straight up, you know, X kill. And this one, you have to be rank 8 to use, and you buy it from the guild for 52,000 gold. This one's kind of useful, but I have 2 samurais that can already do instant kills, so I don't really see a reason to, you know, waste that. And it actually only works if you have a melee weapon. His shurikens don't count towards like the instant kill because you have to actually physically hit them, like melee style. But still, it's pretty, you know, cool to look at. You've also seen me repeatedly use Double Slash. Inflicts large damage to one enemy by attack on 2 characters. Essentially, 2 characters will attack the same enemy. In my opinion, this does more damage than Converge Attack. I don't know why, but when I've noticed, when I'm comparing the damage I've done to Converge Attack, Double Attack does just slightly, ever so much more damage. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's just me looking at it weird or whatever, but I find that me doing Double Slash and then just having the other enemy, I mean the other character just normally attack will be just as effective instead of wasting a Converge Attack. And this one you have to be rank 3 to use, and you learn it from the swordsman on B1. And it being Double Slash, obviously you have to have 2 people to use it. You know, this is one that you will use, you know, throughout pretty much the entire game. I mean, even like, you know, in the final boss I was still using like Double Slash until I switched to using Warp Attack, but still it's pretty nice. Up next is Stun Attack. Render an enemy unconscious. Basically, a person in the back row casts a spell on a character in the front row, well, on their weapon more specifically, which electrifies it, and then they strike the target with it, and if it's successful, it'll stun the enemy. I mean, it says unconscious, which is the same thing as stun, which would then make the enemy take twice the amount of melee damage, which is really freaking cool, especially if you come across enemies that have, you know, like high evade or high defense. It'll actually break through that. So you have to have, you know, your front row member and then a back row member who can use either sorcerer or priest spells. It doesn't matter which, you know, one, it doesn't matter what level, as long as they can use it. I keep forgetting that this one exists, mostly because, you know, I use double slash, which is enough to actually just wipe out whatever enemy I'm up against. You know, that combined with, you know, restrict shot, you know, early on in the game, I was pretty well defended. So you don't have to worry about it, unless it was like a super strong enemy with like a high defense. Like at first, like the Earth Giants have like a high defense, so this would be effective against that. So you don't have to break through that defense. This one you have to be rank 4 to use, and you automatically learn it when you reach rank 4. Here we have fake attack, holds an enemy to allow the other character to attack from a different angle. Basically, it's one character will actually charge towards the enemy and attack a certain way, which will make them, you know, the enemy kind of shift focus, and then the other character will come from behind, and just, or not from behind, but like from another direction and attack them. Kind of just like catching them off guard. I never really cared for this one either, because if you're going to use 2 people to attack the same enemy, you might as well use double slash. Or hell, even stun attack at that point will be more effective. Good thing about that is it ignores evade, so it can't be dodged. That's the only, you know, good side I found about it. I'm sorry about me sniffing and shit. I have a sinus infection right now, and it's not pretty. This one you have to be rank 6 to use, and you buy it from the guild for 36,000 gold. Here we have hold attack. Enemy becomes immobile. Basically, this is almost exactly like the stun attack, but instead of the back row member casting a spell on your weapon, they cast it directly on the enemy. And if it works, it'll successfully hold them in place, like it said hold. It'll freeze them in place so you can actually strike them. This is useful against quick enemies like ninja, wyverns, and lesser demons, and those little floaty ball things, the will-o-wisp, fairies and pixies, crap like that. Because those enemies have a high evade. Now the hold can fail. If you use it and it doesn't say hold, then it didn't work. But once it says hold, then they're fucked. Because when it says hold, you always hit them, so when it does, it always ignores evade. Again, I don't really like using this one, because I can always just go with like other ones that are guaranteed to hit. Like End Lash, or hell, even something up against like this, I might as well just go double slash, which is almost at this point guaranteed to kill them instead of maybe doing, you know, moderate damage. So it's just garbage. You have to have one front row person to you have to have one front row person and a back row person who can use sorcerer or priest spells. Same thing, doesn't matter what kind of spells or what level they are, as long as they can use it. And you have to be rank 4 to use this one, and you automatically learn it at rank 4. Here we have jump attack. A character can avoid an enemy attack. Person in the back row casts some kind of weird jump spell on the front row member, and just launches them into the air. And then they actually come down at the end of a round of combat to deal damage. Like so. You know, fairly moderate amount of damage. While they are jumping, like I said in the description, it'll avoid a physical attack, but not magic or breath attacks. Those will still do full damage. Again, just like the previous one, you have to have a front row member and a back row who can use sorcerer or priest spells. You have to be rank 5 to use it, and you automatically learn it when you reach rank 5. This one's okay to use, especially if you have like a strong front row member like Hina or Ricardo who can use a pissed off samurai sword, but it doesn't utilize or multiple attacks from it. They'll only strike once for like a average amount of damage. But it's still, you know, I don't even remember how much it just fucking said it did a while ago, like 100 something, which is fairly good. I mean, it'd be more than their regular attacks do. So this was kind of, you know, okay to use for a while until you can get the warp attack. Like so, warp attack. An unblockable attack on one enemy by the front row. Basically the exact same thing as jump attack, except the back row member actually creates a warp that the entire front row jumps into, to come down at the end of combat on the same enemy you targeted. Like Nya, 29, 96, and 27. That's also does slightly above like normal damage. And just like jump attack, you can still be hit by magic and breath, and this one is actually really nice to have, especially like late in the game, especially when you combine it with spell cancel. If you're up against enemies that can't use breath attacks, they can only do physical and magic, you're pretty much set, because they won't be able to attack your front row members, and then your back row members will catch them with spell cancel. So that'll put a stop to that shit. And I really like this one. I actually used this one like for the final battle with Bushin, or Bushin, however you pronounce that shit. This one you have to have 3 front row members and a back row who can use Sorcerer or Priest. Must be rank 8 to use it, so that sucks. You can't get it till like towards the end. And you automatically learn it when Orph becomes a registered member. Here we have back attack, which is kind of weird the way that it's... Yeah, the way that it, but the way it's set up is one character acts as a decoy while 2 other characters attack from behind, and it requires all 3 front row members, and you have to select one as a decoy, which is the one that needs to be attacked. In this case, I chose Hina. So anytime any enemy, directly melees her, the other 2 members will go in from behind and attack that enemy. Good thing about that one is it ignores evade, so it'll always hit. But you have to make sure that the enemy actually attacks them. Spells don't count, breath doesn't count, shit like that. So you can't really guarantee that they'll always hit the character that you've chosen as a decoy, which is why I don't like using back attack, because that's, it's a hit or miss. This one you have to be rank 4 to use, and you automatically learn it when Rui becomes a registered member. And here we have Sacred Cross, purifies or destroys the mortals. This took a hella fucking long time because no undead wanted to run into my ass. Basically, it's like a souped up version of your normal dispel attacks from the priest, knight, and bishop. And for this one to work, you have to have a knight in the front row and a priest or bishop in the back row directly behind them. For some reason, it has to work that way for some reason. And it has a higher chance of working against undead. But the same rules for dispel still apply for it, where it can fail. But when it works, it has a super high chance of just killing them outright instead of just making them run away. Not really effective unless you come across like large groups of undead like here, or in level 8 where they have those will-o-wisp, because those are considered undead too. But other than that, not really worth it. Gotta be rank 8 to use it, and you buy it from the guild for 52,000 gold. And here we have Endlash, an attack on both ends of the front and back row of the enemy party. So basically it's like you choose 2 people from the front row. One will attack the leftmost enemy of the front and back row, and the other one will attack the rightmost enemy of the front and back row. In this case, because the Frost Giant is in the middle of the front row, he gets hit twice in like a V pattern, which is super nice. This is effective if you're trying to get rid of like the end enemies that are like priests and bishops and thieves and shit like that. But other than that, it's not really useful. I mean, yes, you could potentially kill up to 4 enemies doing that, but towards the later levels, they're going to be strong enough to survive it. So it's not really recommended, at least for me. But it does ignore evade, so it will always hit. You gotta have 2 people to use it, and be rank 5, and you buy it from the guild for 28,000 gold. Lastly, for the offense, we have Crisscross. An attack is made on enemies thrown into the air while it is vulnerable. Damn. Basically, the enemy gets knocked into the air. Your 2 off members, like the ones on the left and right, will strike him while he's in the air, and then he hits the ground, and then while he gets up and he's disoriented or confused or thrown off guard, third enemy comes in and does like a critical. Or I should say tries to do a critical. Because if it's successful, it will do crit damage like it just did, like 200 and whatever the hell that number was. Otherwise, it'll fuck up and do like 6, which is garbage. That's why I hate using that one. If you're going to do all 3 attack the same one, you might as well use Converge Attack. Because it's guaranteed, well, can't say guaranteed to hit, but you're more than likely going to hit and do a lot more damage than Crisscross, which is why I never liked using it. Gotta have 3 people in the front row to use it. You have to be rank 7, and you buy it from the guild for 44,000 gold. Here we have front yard. Party can be strongly defended by the front row even from ill status. Basically acts as a shield to like kind of break down enemy attacks. And also, like I said, protect from like status change, like stun, poison. Did it say level drain? I wasn't sure. And one other thing that I don't remember what it said either. And this will also break down an enemy's rush, making it like ineffective, whatever the correct one is. Need to have at least 2 to 3 people on the front row to use it. It's learned at rank 2 from the swordsman on B1 whenever he teaches you how to do allied actions. Here we have deploy. Immobile party members cannot participate. And this reduces breath damage. Basically, when the enemy uses a breath attack, everyone will just scatter into like various directions, reducing the amount of damage that a breath attack will do. Sometimes there'll be like a noticeable difference, like half damage. Other times it'll be literally like points. Like I've had it where like they've used breath on me and it's done like 50-60 damage, and then I've used deploy and it's still doing like 45-46. You know, when it was doing 50 like undeployed, so it varies. More than often it's going to do about roughly half damage, and that's according to whether or not your characters have like elemental defenses from like certain cloaks, like the thunder cloak or the flame cloak or the anti-evil cloak and what have you. This one you have to have at least 3 or more people to use. It's learned at rank 6, or you have to be rank 6 to use it, I'm sorry. And you buy it from the guild for 36,000. Here we have spell shell. Basically everyone in the back row will cast a spell to like increase your defense. It says a protective shield is cast by the back row to protect the party from enemy spells. Which is weird because it doesn't say that any of them have to be actual spell casters. It just says, you know, back row has to have at least 3 people. Basically does that. You know, anytime an enemy goes to cast a spell, it'll project the barrier out and it'll like reduce the damage of spells. Like that. Sorry, hit the wrong button. And it'll do that the entire like round of combat, no matter how many times an enemy casts spells. As long as you actually use spell shell, it'll actually work. Like these can all be like mages, and it's gonna use it every single time that a spell's cast. Like I said, you have to have 3 in the back row to use it. Doesn't matter whether they can use spells or not. Must be rank 6 to actually use it, and is automatically learned when Michelle becomes a registered member. This one I never really cared too much to use, since I could just have the back row members just do spell cancel, which not only will stop their spells from even casting in the first place, but it'll also damage them in the process. Characters are strong enough, you can actually just outright kill whatever it is that's casting spells, especially if it's like a mage or a priest. So you're better off just using spell cancel. First up is assistant spell. Increases the strength of the caster's spell. Basically, 2 people combine their magical powers to increase the strength of somebody's spell that you're casting. You just pick what 2 characters you want to use it on, and then who wants to cast the actual spell. And then like boom, you know, that was like well over 1,000 damage a piece. Non-crit, like an assisted Megadeth. Which is like really handy to get rid of like, you know, crap mobs like these. You have to have at least 2 people in the back row, and one of them has to be a caster. So I'm not really sure how that works with increasing their spell power if they can't use magic, but I guess they can somehow. It'll work against any offensive spell. Defensive and like healing, I'm not actually sure. Never really bothered looking. Must be rank 6 to actually use it, and you automatically learn it when you reach rank 6. Here we have Sweep Spell, increases the range of the caster's spell. Basically takes whatever kind of spell you have and increases its range to the next level. In this instance, I cast Creta, which is a tier 1 fire spell, which does low fire damage to one enemy. Sweep spell actually turns it to a medium range fire, a medium damage fire spell against an entire row. Just like if I were to cast a Creta with sweep spell, it would turn it into a Jakreta like spell and hit both rows. Same thing with like defensive spells, it'll turn a single target into a row and turn a row into the entire party, which is effective because not only does it increase the range, it also increases the spell strength. So not only does it make it more effective at hitting more targets, but it also makes it stronger, giving it a better effect. Obviously, it won't work on spells that have already like full target, like Mega Death and other shit like that. Back row have to have 3 people. One of them has to be a spellcaster, must be rank 7 in order to use it, and you buy it from the guild for 44,000 gold. Here we have Silence Breaker. Cures a possessed character, even though it's not really possession. They mean it's actually when seal has been cast on a character, regardless of who it is. As long as you have 3 people in the back row, they're actually going to break the seal status effect on any and all characters that are on it. I mean, you can have all 6 that are sealed. Or, no, I think the back, wait. Yeah, I think as long as you have like the back row, like 3 in the back row, is going to cure however many people that actually has it. You need rank 7 to be able to actually use it, and it's automatically learned when Grace becomes a registered member. And here we have Spell Sword. Overpower the enemy curse with its AA is successful. This one's actually intended to break an enemy's barrier that they may have against certain spells if it's successful. Like that one, not so much. Like the Fire Giant obviously is going to be protected against fire spells, but if let's say that's all you have for whatever reason, Spell Sword could break that barrier that they have against it. And if it's successful, like this case it was not, it'll do like massive damage, even crit damage, if it works. But if you're going to just do something like that, you're probably better off just using, you know, stun attack. I mean, if you're going to have a front row and back row, or hell, even jump attack at this point would actually do a lot more damage than that. So that's why I don't really use Spell Sword. Got to have at least one person in the front row to use it, obviously, and the back row, anyone that's a caster, like an active caster, like Priest, Bishop, Sorcerer. Must be rank 5 in order to use it, and you buy it from the guild for 28,000 gold. First up is Assisted Shot. Projectile thrown to 8 accuracy of Comrade. Can't combine with other assisted AAs. Basically, everyone in the back row will attack the same enemy, increasing the next member's attack, which will be a front row member, increasing his accuracy, or ability to hit said enemy, if it hasn't been killed yet. Like in that instance, it has been. So just switch targets. And then proceed to move to the next one, and then it lets you just outright kills that one too, like so. Back row you can have between 1 to 3 members. Having more than one will actually increase their ability to hit a target. So you have to have at least 2, like in the back row and then 1 in the front row. Need to have rank 4 to use it, and you buy it from the guild for 4,000. This one's actually really useful against like a lot of like little pissant enemies to kind of help clear them faster. Because doing this, you can actually clear out up to like 6 different enemies. They should be strong enough at this point to, you know, do like some of the like lesser enemies, but otherwise just stick to Restrict Shot or Spell Cancel. And here we have Restrict Shot that you can also see me use several times. Enemy attack is halted by a projectile. By a projectile thrown. Can't be combined with other assisted AAs. You basically choose 2 back row members, protect 2 front row members, and any time that someone goes to attack them with melee, it'll stop them right before it happens. You can have either 1 or 2 people do Restrict Shot in the back row, but it actually is a guaranteed hit if you have 2. And it'll pretty much do it any time that those 2 characters are attacked. Unlike Spell Cancel, that'll only work up to 2 spells. Gotta be rank 3 to use this one, and you learn it from the swordsman on B1 when he teaches you the other AAs. Last assist, we have Spell Cancel. Enemy spell is halted by a projectile thrown. Can't be combined with assisted AAs. It's basically the exact same thing as a Restrict Shot, but it'll block spells instead. Up to 2 times. And that's only at rank 8. Otherwise, it'll be like rank 7 and below, you'll do it only once per round of combat. Which I think is fucking stupid, because Restrict Shot, it'll do it as long as you're protecting those 2 per round. So, you know, having 1 or 2 in the back, having 2 will guarantee an actual hit. Must be rank 4 to use it, and you'll automatically learn it when you reach rank 4. Okay, now that all the plain ones are done, I'm actually going to switch saves and go to another one where I have like a different party with the Possess AAs, because I haven't beat the Reaper on those yet. So I'm going to come back to that one. Okay, I am back with the new party. basically it's the same as my other group, except Ricardo's not a samurai yet, and I've replaced Kyo with Colgan, who already has like rank 8 when you first get him. So it offset my rank that was 5 at the time to make it 6. Sarah is a bishop, so I just left her as that was. And you can see just from looking at it, everything is like a pinkish red hue. Kind of like Dark Fog, but instead of being blackish gray, it's red pink. I don't know why they went with red pink, but whatever. Or red pinkish purpley, whatever the fuck color that would be. And you can't see the AAs, well, the possessed AAs in here. You have to actually see them in combat, like so. You'll see right off the bat that your normal AAs are gone, as well as invert rows and fleet together, and they're replaced by these over here. Reaper's Blade, Soul Smash, Sealing Voice, Spirit Healing, and Deceptive Slip. These are also trust level locked, like this one being rank 2, 3, 4, and both of these 6. These AAs are actually bad to use, mostly because they revolve around either injuring or outright killing one of your characters, except your main character. He has to be alive. But other than that, they're actually pretty cool to look at. First up, we have Deceptive Slip. At the expense of a member's HP, fleeing is certain except certain monsters. Basically, it'll sacrifice a little bit of hit points from somebody. In that case, it looked like he only did like 4 or 5 to automatically run from a non-boss combat scenario. Because he had, what, 890? It's like 886. So it's not that much, but it's a guaranteed run. Like, you can't fuck it up. So I mean, it's like, that's pretty good. You know, automatically run at the cost of like, what, 4 hit points? So yeah, automatic run for 4 hit points. That's nothing. Here we have Reaper's Blade, a critical hit performed at the cost of losing half of the character's HP. Basically, you pick a target character you suck the HP from, and it'll convert that into crit damage for your main character on, I believe, the next round. Like so. It's kind of but you better off just using, you know, like double slash or some shit. So that one you have to have at least, you know, 2 or more people in order to use it, as well as rank 3. So it's like, you kind of lose half a character's HP just so you might be able to do like more crits, because it increases your chance of doing more crits, not a guaranteed crit, even though it says a critical hit performed. That's not a guarantee. So you have a higher chance of doing crits. It also depends on what weapon you have, whether that will allow you to do higher crits or not. But other than that, it sucks. I don't recommend using it. Here we have Soul Smash. All enemies can be killed at the cost of losing a character. Basically, one character goes and it'll, you know, kill all enemies, or kill all non-boss enemies on the screen. And that will never ever be worth it. I mean, you lose a character permanently. It's like, why would you do that? That's just completely, you know, not very smart to do. You need at least 2 or more people to use this one at rank 4. But like I said, not worth it, especially for losing a character permanently. Here we have Sealing Voice. Stops an enemy from casting spells with the cost of losing half of all characters' HP. Basically, it'll seal all the spells from, like, it'll seal all the enemy spells, but it won't actually show the little graphic thing like it normally does. Like you're going to use, like Sarome, where it shows a little green orb encircling their head to show you that they're silenced, they can't, you know, cast magic. Sealing Voice won't do that, but like I said, it will hit all enemies. I'm not really sure how long it lasts. I think it varies. Like, it's like randomized, like between like 1 round to like 4 or so. I don't know if it's like the entire, like, you know, round of combat, like until combat's over. I don't remember. Not sure. This one you also have to have at least 2 or more people in order for it to use, and you have to be rank 6. Again, all your characters lose half their HP. Like their current HP total, whatever it is just cut in half. Not worth it. Especially like early on. It's just complete garbaggio. Whatever the hell garbaggio is, I don't know where that word came from. And lastly, we have Spirit Healing. Leader heals the same amount of HP inflicted on other characters. So basically, it takes the sum of their damage that they receive, you know, max hit points, subtract, you know, like max hit points minus current hit points to get whatever their that total is from each character, and then all that added up is what your main character is healed by. So if this person's missing 100, that person's missing 100, this person's missing 50, that one's missing 50, that one's missing 50, you're going to heal 350, which is cool. This way, as long as you have at least 2 or more people injured, then he's probably going to always have close to full life, especially if it's like a large amount of life, and they're in the back row. So basically, to make this one work, you have to have at least an injured character, which is, yeah, and you have to be rank 6 to use that one as well. So all in all, these are pretty much useless. I mean, I don't recommend using them at all. You can, because they fucking look cool as shit. But, you know, losing half your, you know, half of a character's HP, or fucking half of everyone's HP, especially with Sealing Voice, you know, or just outright losing a character with Soul Smash, that's just, why would you take that risk? I mean, yes, they are cool looking, but that's about it. I think this may have been intended to be like an Easter egg or something, and not actually being taken seriously. I guess just to show people who are curious, you know, like, what does it look like when everyone gets possessed? What'll happen? And then, like, oh, lo and behold, something happens. It's like super cool, but not recommended. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do for this episode. When we come back, I'm going to load up my other save, and I'm actually going to show you a secret dungeon that's in the game. And I might split that one into 2 parts, I don't know, because it's fucking huge, and I really want to get a lot of shit done for it. So, until next time, this is Save Night on Let's Play Wizardry Tale of the Forsaken Land. Later, guys.